Greetings, everyone. We are here live once again with American ESL Institute, and this is your host, Fluency MC. We're here with another live session, which we're doing every couple of weeks, different ways that English language teachers worldwide can help our students, different ages, different levels, different countries, cultures. That's what the American ESL Institute and I am all about, trying to reach as many of our colleagues as we can here virtually and on the ground, also in teaching positions around the world. So greetings and welcome. Thank you. As I said, my name is Fluency MC. I'm also known as Jason R. Levine. I'm here with American ESL Institute. And if you're here live, would love it if you could put in the comments who you are and where you're from. For example, you could say hello from and your country. Tell us a little bit about yourself. That would be fantastic. I am an English language teacher, trainer, and knowledge entertainer, currently in Paris, France, from the United States. And I do a lot of different things, but what I mainly do is travel to schools in different countries and do workshops with kids and training for teachers on how to use rhyme and rhythm and other techniques to relax and enjoy English, and as a result, get more up here and get more prepared for classes and for life outside the classroom. So I'm excited tonight for this topic, EFT, tapping in the classroom. So this is not ELT or EFL, but it's interesting that it sort of has a ring to it like the acronyms we use. Emotional freedom technique. This is something that I actually did not know anything about until recently when American ESL Institute asked me to do this session. I started looking into it. I thought, wow, there are some very interesting parallels between what I'm reading about and what I'm seeing in these videos with kids, parallels to what I do as a teacher and a trainer. So I got very interested very quickly, and I'm here tonight to share with you what I learned. And I should say right off the bat, if anyone who is here live, I see we have a few people here, don't be shy, please. Oh, I had this problem last time where I said, don't be shy, put your comments in, and then I couldn't read the comments because of the way my screen was set up. But anyway, I'll say hello. Hello. Try to get things going here. And yeah, if you're here live or you're watching the recording and you know anything about EFT, perhaps you've used tapping in the classroom. We're going to get to what tapping means in a moment. The EFT is all about tapping. If you've used tapping in the classroom, or you know someone who has, or you have a colleague who mentioned it to you, and so you're curious, please let us know. Like I said, I didn't know much about it, but then once I went, I didn't know anything about it, frankly. But when I started looking into it, I was surprised because so many educators were using this technique. So I will not be surprised if a teacher says, oh yeah, I know this, or someone I know knows this. So it's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, but I'm also going to keep talking about tapping and tapping in the classroom. So the Emotional Freedom Technique, the largest possible sense, right, is a way of helping your body's energy go from negative to positive, to balance out the energy in your body. But it's very specifically focused on this tapping technique, right? So the idea is you're tapping with your fingertips. So we're talking about tapping, like you tap the desk. You're tapping on endpoints of your body's meridians, right? While you're thinking about some negative energy, and by tapping different points, the idea is you are releasing that negative energy, or you're reconfiguring it so you don't have the same energy disruption, right? You don't have the same negative energy that you're feeling. Now, if this sounds to you a little whoa out there, and like you're wondering about, wow, really, Jason? Like you use this? First of all, I've never tried this. I'm just checking it out. But as I said, there's some really interesting things about what they're doing with this technique. I'm going to explain it more in a moment, that I think as English language teachers, we could maybe certainly learn from and quite possibly benefit from, either directly by using tapping, or if not, by what we're going to talk about tonight, because I think, I know it links so closely to issues we have with getting our students to overcome fears, to relax, to acquire language, to communicate in the classroom during activities. So it really is similar. It comes from the sort of the acupuncture school, like the ancient Chinese art of acupuncture. The idea of these energy hotspots, right? How do we restore the body's energy? How do you clear away negative energy, right? And I'm going to explain, the basic procedures, but I will urge you now and at different points during this session to go on the internet, put in tapping in class or students tapping, and to go right to how EFT is. Hey, Ayat's here. Nice to see you. Oh, and it's American Teasel's here. I think I know who that is. That's the big boss saying hello. All right. Well, greetings, guys. So yeah, I would do what I did, which is go right to, because emotional freedom technique, EFT, and tapping is something that is used by people of all ages in different situations to try to help in different ways. But in the classroom, there's all kinds of video of kids doing this, of teachers talking about how it's helped their kids in all these different ways. So it would be really important for you to do that, because I don't have kids here to demonstrate, to show you this, but you can, if you're curious after watching this, you can, you should go look for those videos. So you just want to enter EFT classroom or tapping in the classroom. So as I said, this is the idea of EFT is to help with issues, not just for classes and students, certainly not for just English language teachers and students. I mean, you can go on and find testimonials, people talking about how they got rid of depression, pain, trauma, especially traumatics, post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know to what level tapping has really helped these people, or they've certainly come out and made testimonies saying that it has. So it's very interesting. But as I said, we're not going to focus on this side. We're going to go directly into how in the classroom, and specifically the English language classroom, how this technique might help, and even if you don't use it, how this discussion about how we help students overcome anxiety and fear in the classroom, how that's so relevant to all of us dealing with students who have stress, especially surrounding using language in the classroom. Hello, we have Toraya here saying hello. Where are you from, Toraya? Susanna saying hi from Austria. Hello from France, not too far away. All right, glad to see you guys here. So if you're just tuning in, we are talking about EFT, and specifically how the emotional freedom technique can, the tapping in the classroom can help students overcome stress and fears and clear the air, as we said in the title. And I'm here with the American TESOL Institute, and my name is Fluency MC, also known as Jason R. Levine, or vice versa. And I want to start off by, probably by now, unless you know about tapping, you're going, wait, what? I see Jason's doing this. What's going on? So I want to explain what it is. And it's a very simple idea. So I want to get right to that. And as I said, just before that, let me just repeat a couple things. If you think this sounds crazy, this idea of getting your students to, do this kind of technique to alleviate stress, it's not as crazy as you think. I mean, it might depend on their ages. I do want to focus on younger learners for this, because the videos I saw, it was mainly with young learners, although I saw some great stuff with high school and even beyond as well. Yeah, I want to let me go right to what it is and sort of demonstrate it a bit, and then talk a bit about what teachers have said. Not necessarily English language teachers, teachers in general classrooms where they're doing this mainly, and then talk about how I think it might relate to us as English language teachers. So how do you do EFT? Well, they have something called the basic recipe, right? And the idea is first you choose an issue that is giving you stress, some negative energy, something that is not going well. And let's imagine an English language classroom while we're doing this, right? So you've got some kids who are learning, let's say, I don't know, 11 years old. Now, they might have issues from home. They might have issues. In the videos I saw, a lot of it was, problems at home and things like this also. But then also, stress like tests coming. And I'm thinking stress like, just being in class and learning another language and, maybe a test is coming. But anyway, the idea is you choose an issue that you have, right? And you first decide the intensity level, like the stress level from 0 to 10. And there's some great language learning opportunities here I'm going to go back to later. But just the basic recipe, right? First you do this, and then step 1 is called the setup. And in the setup, you repeat an affirmation 3 times while rubbing the tender spots. Now, they showed me where the tender spots were in this orientation video I saw, and they really are tender. It already starts to feel good when you're rubbing here. The idea is you repeat 3 times while you rub here, and the affirmation, it's called like a neutralizing statement. It's a negative and a positive together. It's also a really cool subordinate clause. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the English language here, but it's really good dependent clause, subordinate clause to talk about concession, like even though, right? So here's the even though clause is what you use for these, right? So that's where you put your negative couched with a positive. So check this out. Here's one. Even though English is hard, I'm getting better. You got that? Even though English is hard, I'm getting better. So follow me. So I'm sorry if I'm not responding to your comments, but I'm showing you guys the setup. Even though English is hard, I'm getting better. Even though English is hard, I'm getting better. Ooh, there's repetition, isn't there? Even though English is hard, I'm getting better. Okay, spoiler alert. I love the repetition in these these mantras, this affirmation, and there's more repetition coming. So tell me your students wouldn't remember how to use even though if they started using the tapping. So that's the first thing, right? But that's not the tapping, you notice. We're not tapping here. This is rubbing the tender spots. Then step 2 is the sequence. And now we're going to go to the tapping points. Okay? And the idea here is you're going to say a new phrase. And this phrase, in the traditional EFT, this phrase is the negative thing. So for example, English is hard, or I don't want to take this test, or things outside the classroom, right? So kids are being mean to me, or my brother is sick, or something like this, right? So it could be anything, but again, I want to try to focus maybe on language learning stuff. So English is hard. So the idea is we're going to talk about the tapping next, that while you say that negative thing, you're tapping. You're tapping these different points in your body. But I looked at some other people in education, they're not just repeating the problem, but also things to make you feel better. Like, I can do it, I have it in me, right? So I'm not sure about this one. And again, I haven't tried this out at all. I'm not here to advocate or to debunk the emotional freedom technique. I'm curious about it because, as you know, I'm very interested in the idea of remembering language once we're relaxed, how stress can make it hard to remember things, how repetition is important, and repeating these things while we were just doing the tender points, getting ready. Sorry, I know I'm digressing here. Getting ready to do the sequence, which is the tapping. Before we do the tapping, I'm going to go and see if there are any comments here before we get tapping in ELT classes. If it gets students less stressed in their classrooms, then it's hopefully going to help teachers as well. Exactly. Well, I will tell you, some of the things I read, I'll get to that later, that teachers have said, and you can find, I mean, of course, there are people out there selling courses, and they've got people saying this cured this, and this, made my depression disappear. But I also saw videos of kids who really seem to be benefiting from this. So it's interesting. From Morocco, there we go. I wasn't sure where you were from, Toraya, although your name made me think probably Morocco. Who else is here? Julia's here from Ukraine. You like me and my tunes. Peace and respect. Yes, I am Fluent CMC. Some people call me MC Fluency. It just doesn't rhyme or flow as well. So yes, I'm Fluent CMC. Hello, Patrick. Patrick, where are you from? Now for the sequence, we did the setup, right? With our even though clause, right? And now, or even though clause plus our sentence basically with even though. And I'm sure we could do although, though. How about we could flip it and make a sentence connected with however, or go back to despite the fact that. Okay, I'm going to get into how we can. I saw that sentence and I saw how it's always even though, and you repeat it. I was like, wow, we can teach connectors while we're tapping. So the sequence, this is the tapping. Now I need to go to my diagram, which you are not going to be able to see because unfortunately I didn't plan well enough to have that in front of me. Have that to show you. But I am going to do the next best thing, which is demonstrate it so clearly for you that you won't have any problem. Basically, when you watch these videos with kids in class, you see them, right, tapping different parts of their body, and there is a sequence, right, where you sort of start here, right, and you move down. I'm not doing it all right. I'm going to go to my picture in a moment. I know this is number 9 and then number 10, right? So it's these 10 points that you're tapping. And even while you're watching me now talk about it, you might want to open up another window and put in tapping in the classroom and go to videos, go to YouTube, and you'll see these kids doing it. But I'm going to demonstrate it just a second here. Okay, so sorry, let me get here we go. Okay, so the idea, guys, right? Let's do the traditional way. We're going to do it where we take our reminder phrase as something really negative, the negative thing, right? Like, it's so hard to speak English, right? Or how about even better, I feel ashamed speaking English. Ooh, I like that. Let's try that one. I feel ashamed speaking English. So it's like this, right? And we have to talk. We didn't talk about the intensity level. Okay, so I'm a student. I'm telling you, I feel ashamed to speak English, and my intensity level is around 7 for that. Right? That's my intensity level. So now I'm going to tap these 10 parts of my body while I say this. Okay. So here's number 1. Right? Check it out. I feel ashamed. Feel ashamed to speak English. I feel ashamed speaking English. Those could actually go, right? I feel ashamed to speak English, or I feel ashamed when I'm speaking English. How about? Yeah. I'm actually questioning myself with that. Gerund or infinitive, guys, or both with ashamed. I'm ashamed to do it as different, isn't it? Because I'm ashamed speaking. We need the infinitive. If I'm wrong here, guys, let me know. I'm ashamed to speak English, meaning like I'm too shy to do it. I'm too ashamed to do it, right? Okay, that works. All right, so I'm ashamed to speak English. This is my first point. I'm ashamed to speak English. I'm ashamed to speak English. I'm ashamed to speak English. This is my third tapping point here. Now, other people are saying you can change what you're saying. So how about, I feel stressed in English class. I feel stressed in English class. Or maybe younger learners, that's lower level learners, that's too hard. How about, I feel shy. I feel shy. English is hard. This is number 6. English is hard. Then they're saying also that some people are saying you can also talk about the positives. You can go back and forth. I like this idea, as I'm going to get to. I like the idea of using lots of different language and repeating it. So how about, my English is okay. This is number 7. My English is okay. I'm making progress. I'm making progress. I'm a good student. I'm a good student. My personal favorite. I have it in me. I have it in me. That's number 10. Now, the reason I got into this, let me see if there's some comments here. Lima Peru, hey Patrick. Wow, Tatana's from Zimbabwe. We really have a diverse group of people here live. I'm so pleased with how many people here are here live. Boniface, I don't need to ask where you're from, although I'd like you to tell everybody. If you don't, I'll tell. Boniface is the one person here so far I've met face to face, a colleague of mine. Should there be a high intensity level? Notice most of your examples are negative. Well, let me just repeat, because I know it could be a little confusing, that the original idea of the emotional freedom technique is that you pick something that is really bothering you, right? This is not, first of all, this is not an educational technique, first and foremost, a classroom technique. It's something that is being used in classrooms, and I can see why. And I hope I can help you see why. The idea is that, yes, there should be a high intensity level. It should be something that's really negative. So whether it's something physical pain, like I said, is something that this treats, or stress in some type of stress. But yeah, it should be something high that we're going to bring down. So the idea is that after we do this, some of this tapping, we're going to reassess the level and see where we are. Oh, you see, now we're moving on to positive ones. Well, right, there's different ways of thinking about it. Traditionally, it's, even though English is hard, this is not the tapping, this is the rubbing, the tender points. Even though English is hard, I can do better, or I'm making progress, right? And then after that, the tapping is with the negative. English is hard. English is hard. But then I saw some people doing, English is hard. I can do better. I feel stressed, right? So going back and forth. So I'm not sure, and like I said, I have not tried this with kids, but I saw some really great videos with kids doing it. So I want to get to, as you can tell from the way I'm focusing this, I want to get to how English language teaching and issues with stress in the classroom, and how this can help, but also how maybe the repetition and the rhythm. Did you feel that rhythm when we were doing it? Whatever we're saying. I feel there's really an opportunity here, not telling the students this, of course, it's a secret, to help them get some repetitive exposure and practice to sentences, grammar they need to learn. And please, I am not suggesting that this is more important than relieving stress. I'm talking about killing two birds with one stone here, if you know what I mean. so to speak. So, why do all these people say tapping works to lower stress? Let's focus on the stress first, okay? Because in the things I read, there was nothing about how it helps students acquire language or the natural stress timed rhythm of English, which is what I want to talk about a little bit too. But there is plenty of evidence, or at least testimonies from teachers out there about how it works with students in their classroom. So I want to read you a few things here. So things like, what a privilege it has been to help children with fears and anxieties work through their emotions so easily and effectively through tapping. Anytime my students are nervous about performing, we tap and it helps their anxiety go away. We tap before tests, tap on their worries before exams, tap on their worries before exams. One student taps in front of the class while the others tap along. Interesting, isn't it, English language teachers? Here are some of the things that are repeated. I'm feeling, this is my favorite one. You can see where I'm feeling really stressed. I have to take a math test. When I got this topic, and I went and saw that, the rhyme, the rhythm, the physical rhythms going on here, I thought, if this is helping kids relax, I'm not entirely surprised. Here's some of the things that are said while tapping the EFT points. I'm feeling really stressed. I have to take a math test. What if I don't know all the answers? This is like test stuff. What if I don't improve my score? And then I said there's some positive ones, right? I really know a lot. I'm a smart kid. I'll do my best. So I'm not sure about this idea of whether we should say the negative things while we tap, which is the traditional idea, or also some positive things while we tap. To be 100% candid and frank with you, I'm not so sure how much of it is the tapping as it is the group, especially in a group, the group vibe of acknowledging that you have stress, right? The acknowledgement of it and feeling like other people have it too. I think that's huge. And the second thing, as important or more important, that idea of expressing things that are bothering you, like actually putting them into words and then repeating them and then doing it together in this way. So if you're out there saying, wait, but they're the meridian points and this is like acupuncture and this is real. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying, but without any hard evidence, I can just imagine personally, it might not be so much that, but these other ways that this is this kind of interactive and communicative activity that's going on, which to me makes it perfect for an English language classroom. So I'm just going to check here if there are any comments. Oh, look, Patrick. Here we go. All right. Well, look, we got Patrick. How did I forget where you're from? You already said you're from South America. Okay, Peru. Patrick's in Peru, and look, we got a rap right here. If you do like to rap, you help students with the taps so they don't take a nap. And everybody claps. Check it out. We got Patrick on the MIC doing it live right here with Fluent CMC, the tapping technique. It's so unique. It's a way to get your kids to feel really good and not sleep but not be stressed. Check it out. It's the best. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, bravo, Patrick. I really like that one. I'm gonna have to steal that one. So really, watching these kids tapping and talking about their fears and their stress, and then reporting afterwards that they felt better. That's something I haven't mentioned yet. And again, you can go online and find all this stuff. I chose, where is it? Okay, just a couple more things teachers were saying. Just that, well, skip that. Let's go right to, there are all these testimonies or teachers explaining things where kids tapped and things felt better. And this one really hit home. So when you're listening to this, think about your kids and the whole idea of, trying to get the English they've learned out of their heads onto paper for a test, or out of their heads into an activity. Okay, I'm going to tell you this story here. So a teacher said one boy last year began crying while attempting to complete his map of Canada test. This is already so tragic. It's such a U.S. story, right? He had to complete his map of Canada test. I can't remember the territories, he said. I knew them yesterday, but not today. He sobbed. He was crying. After a brief round of tapping, right, I asked if he could remember just one territory. He said, sure, I can remember them all the capitals too. And he got 100% on the test. I love this story. Do we have proof that this happened this way? I don't know, but it sounds good to me. This is the kind of thing. Yes, you're right. I'm basically my tapping, they already rhymed. That's the thing. I gotta have to try this out, because one of the things I already told you, wait, let me go back up there. Hang on. Yeah, one of the first things they were tapping is, I'm feeling really stressed. I have to take a math test. I mean, this is what I'm already doing, right? I just don't have the tapping on the parts of the body, and not having kids the students come up with ideas of things that are bothering them or are stressing. Again, it doesn't have to be just English. It could be anything. And the videos you'll see, it is anything. It's problems they're having in their lives. But I'm thinking that we could possibly, I think I'm going to at least try this as a way also to get students to come up with phrases to talk about problems, to get students to come up with sentences to talk about how to encourage themselves and each other. So the whole idea of building self-esteem to get over stress, or repeating things rhythmically to relax, especially if you're doing it in a group. Wow, this is super cool. Boniface, where are you from? If you don't tell them, I will. Boniface is from a country that's very, very important to me, professionally and personally. And I was just there visiting, and I saw him, and he's a wonderful teacher that works with a wonderful group of young learners, little ones. I can see them doing the tapping technique. So when I heard that story about the boy who couldn't remember any of the Canada territories for his map test, and then was like, oh yeah, I got it. He had that information here, right? It's like, how do you unlock it? That's what happens so often, right? And when we pressure students to speak and to, you learn this, so use it, say it, write it. That increases stress. And so the tapping is not about trying to remember the English, right? It's about just trying to relax. And if that then means, oh, they've got that English to use, that could be very interesting. I mean, needless to say, if it helps them with depression and anxiety and problems at home, that's even better. But I think I'll personally try it out first with talking about English, or maybe just general stress or feeling tired or anything. But imagine, whatever you wanted to focus on, they come up with the things to say while they're tapping. So isn't this a great way to introduce language, to review language to, whatever target language you've got, but especially in these areas, I think talking about things that bother you and encouraging yourself to feel better and thinking of ways to encourage others and using those sentences in this technique, I think that's a very, very cool idea. So really, what is this all about? I mean, isn't this really about the power of positive thinking? And in different ways, whether it's, in a religious setting, if it's in, meditation setting, if it's in, activities that you really enjoy that make you feel good about yourself, therapy, the power of positive thinking. That's what really this is about. And I love how, and again, I'm not here to endorse this technique. If you come out later and be like, EFT, I mean, if you look, let's be honest, if you go to, Wikipedia, which I did, and you look up emotional freedom technique, you're going to see some things about how it's helped people, and you're also going to see some things about how many people call it a pseudoscience and debunk it and all this. But we also know that there are many holistic things in medicine, approaches, ways that maybe it's hard to explain why exactly. Like acupuncture is a fantastic example of this, right? But it clearly helps people. But I think we really should try this in ELT. I haven't seen any English language teacher video using the tapping technique as of yet. So if you've ever heard, I really, really want you to let me know. If you've heard of a teacher, it would be great if it's you, but that would be even better. Or if you've heard of someone who's used this with students in the English language classroom, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear about it. The next time I'm with a group of young learners, I'm going to try it. I might even try it with my I have some university students right now. I'm going to see them in about a week. Couple of weeks actually. I'm wondering about trying it with them, but I don't know if it would work as well unless I sort of indoctrinated them into. I don't think I could come right out with the tapping technique, but with little kids, repetition. Should we try one? Oh, we got a question here. What activities do you recommend for teachers to do with their students if the lesson is long and sometimes boring? That is an excellent question. And I know we're here to talk about tapping in the classroom, but I will say that is a really good topic for the future. I'm not going to answer that directly right now, but I will suggest that to the American TESOL Institute because there are a lot of things I could do to talk about on that subject. But I wonder if tapping could be something that you do now. How old are your students? I'm not against doing it with older students, but the videos I saw that really worked with the groups, I saw some people with adolescents in therapy, like in a counseling session kind of thing, where they were doing it to calm down and overcome stress. But the big groups of kids, they were little kids. So Bella, tell me, if you can tell me what, we're getting a lot of good questions here that aren't related directly to this topic, so we need to take note of them for future. I'm just going to read them here. Julia's saying, Dear Jason, do you have any tips on how to help adults who take lessons pay for them and yet they bring in their self-assertive attitude of knowing it all while being a beginner? Yeah, I've had that experience. Really find it frustrating to think of a way to really teach them anything. That is a great topic too. I'm not going to answer that. I have a lot of things to say about that. I know I will completely digress from this video, and I can't do that. Okay, so Patrick has been researching while we're doing this, which is great. Yes, I mean, the people say that tapping can really, it's like a miracle cure, right? And I'm not talking so much about, relieving disease and, going to actually see a special therapist to do tapping. I'm talking about tapping in the classroom because, as I said, this is not a new idea. If you go and look at tapping in the classroom, you're going to see groups of kids doing this and teachers and students saying, It helps me relax. It helps me focus. It helps me, get rid of stress. And anything that does that is going to be very welcome in the language learning classroom. You're a teacher for preparatory stage, yes, but what age? I'm just wondering, because kids getting bored during long lessons and adults getting bored during long lessons, it can be a little bit different. But I'm not. I'll keep you guys talking if you ask me those questions. But I'm not going to get off this topic because if I do, it'll be hard to get back. So I'll recommend we do these. We address these questions in future sessions here. Who wants to try? What I need from you is a suggestion. I need a suggestion of some problem you have, something that's stressing you out. So we did an example earlier, imagining we're students, but this can be you as a teacher. We're going to try. I just need one person. Yeah, like moving their hands and doing stuff. And right. And it can also be a good cooler, warmer at the beginning. If you've got young kids, you want to kind of calm them down. You can do some kind of like exercises. So, you can do things to hype kids up kinesthetically, or you can get things sort of cool them down. Who's got a problem? Come to the tapping church. Tell us your problem. Yeah, anything that relieves stress and makes students more motivated. And they go together so much. And the converse also, of course, anything that raises stress is going to demotivate them. So that's what this, we're into the power of positive thinking here with EFT and the tapping technique. I also like how I see a lot of variation with it. It's not as if you have to, I'm sure people who subscribe to, the original EFT, that, oh, you can't change it and you can't do this, you can't do that. But there are tons of people out there kind of doing their own thing with tapping. But let's get to some tapping. Don't be shy. Give us a problem. It can't be too general, but not too specific, right? So, for example, too general would be I feel stressed. And too specific might be, I feel stressed because my cousin said X yesterday when we were bowling right? But it could be like, I feel stressed because, people are mean to me, or, nobody said, maybe we can go, maybe I can take something I've already seen here. I want to go back up to what Julia said, because she sounds pretty stressed out about this. Adults paying for lessons and bring their self-assertive attitude of knowing it all. Oh yeah, that sounds sort of familiar too. Yeah, is that Patrick? Is that about Sorry, I should say what we're talking about a song in Spanish. Patrick's from Peru. Palo, palo, palo. Palo Pali 2. Okay. Is that so that song, and they have a special movement. Is the goal of that song to reduce stress and anxiety, number one? Or is that just also a result, a nice benefit of the song? But sure, why songs relax and motivate us. The rhythm, the rhyme, the tapping, the repeating, all of this it's all so closely linked. My colleague for many years, she's nervous about getting back to work soon. Yes, we're ready to try it out. We're gonna try it out. Okay, like starting class, like get everybody focused and relaxed. Okay, very cool. So here's what we need to do, Ayat, for the setup. We need to make an even though sentence. So we need to do, even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, and then something positive. It doesn't have to be just Ayat who says this. Anybody else, anybody, we know her problem. She's nervous about getting back to work. And doing this together in a community is a little bit like doing it in a class. I like that, Patrick. I have to look into that. Who wants to come up with the, I'll start the sentence. Even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, what? Somebody finish that sentence. That's going to be our affirmation, right? For the setup. I love this. Even talking to you guys, I'm getting more and more interested in doing this with little kids. Even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, what? Give me something, guys. I can what? Or it will what? Something positive. Oh, you're going to make me do it? While we're waiting, let me just say to anyone that is just joining us now, this is Fluent CMC, your host of the live sessions with, where are we? American TESOL Institute. And we have different topics coming up. I've got one coming up, which is going to connect a little bit to a couple things being asked here about how to deal with know-it-all students, and also how to make long lessons more interesting and fun. And today we're talking about EFT, tapping in the classroom, and we're getting close to the end. I want to take this time to help Ayat with her problem. All right, I'm just going to keep going here. Oh, here we go. Patrick's helping us. Even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, I know I'm going to have a great day. I love it. Bingo. Bullseye. Perfect. So here's what we're going to do, everybody. This is not the tapping. This is rubbing the tender spots. God, I could just keep going, right? This is just, so here's what we do. Ready? Even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, I know I'm going to have a great day. Oh, look at the rhythm in that. Again, even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, I know I'm going to have a great day. One more time. Even though I'm nervous about getting back to work, I know I'm going to have a great day. Okay. That's our setup. Now the tapping. Let's try it the conventional way, and then the other way I saw someone do it. The conventional way is we repeat the thing that's bothering us, the difficult thing, okay? So we're going to go through the 10 different points, okay? I know you don't have a diagram in front of you. You can find one online if you want. Just follow me, right? So we're going to do, I'm nervous about getting back to work. Okay, and everyone else, here we go. I'm nervous about getting back to work. 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 I have to say, I actually feel more relaxed now. I love all these comments here. Guys, I really feel more relaxed. Isn't that interesting? Because when I was trying it before by myself, I wasn't really doing it. I was more just trying to learn how it worked. Bilal's saying, sometimes I have to teach the students. I see. Bilal, looks like you're going to need, you got a lot of stuff to teach them. It must be hard. We really have to do a lesson on this. Yeah, you can feel the rhythm, right? How cool would it be to have that help students learn the rhythm of English without having to tell them we're learning the rhythm? I mean, that's what I'm all about, learning when you're not looking, right? So, and repeating phrases, just to sit there and repeat stupid conversations, the old, audiolingual repetition. This is what I go against with songs. Songs offer a way to repeat naturally, but this also offers a way to repeat naturally, doesn't it? It's like, what's the other way to do it? Because that didn't work for me. I'm still nervous. The other thing to do, and I want to try this too, is where you don't say the negative thing when you're tapping. You say the positive. The whole idea is you're balancing stuff out. So I guess some people are saying, look, you say the negative thing because you're balancing the energy to get rid of that negative thing by tapping. But also you can see the logic the other way, I guess, where if you're saying the positive thing while you're tapping, you're kind of trying to push that positive thing in. But anyway, I like the idea of both and maybe mixing them together, which is what I saw. But I have to confess, what I like most about it, saying the positive things over and over again, is because we don't always want to remember phrases, idioms, to talk about what is bothering us and stress, although that's useful, but also things to make us feel better and encourage ourselves that we can then use for others. So how about going back up to Patrick? Where is it? It's just, I know I'm going to have a good day. I love this. Look at this as noun clause with that. And with going to. How cool would it be if by repeating that, we're getting, in addition to the relaxation and the better day, which I hope will happen, especially for Ayat, but we are, yes, that's what we're going to do. Patrick, you're reading my mind. But not, I'm going to have a great day, because the rhythm is not as good. I know I'm going to have a great day. And maybe you can turn around and say that to someone. I know you're going to have a great day. It really sounds like very therapeutic stuff here, even though you're worried about getting back to work, right? I know you're going to have a great day. That is good stuff, guys. Thank you, Ayat. But I want to try it with the tapping. I'm telling you, that tapping, when I saw this diagram with the points on the head and the arms, I thought, oh, God, are you serious? I meant like for me. And then I was thinking, kids, okay, cool. There's also parts of the body you can teach here, tap above below your nose, above your eye. I mean, think about prepositions of place. Oh my God, guys, there's just like a treasure trove of functional English in EFT. Yeah, I know I'm going to have a great, this is all Patrick. We're helping Ayad here with Patrick's, came up with I want to call it the assertion. It's not called the assertion. What's wrong with me? The affirmation. There we go. With even though. And now we're going to try saying something positive while we are tapping those meridian points. The first one is right here above your eye. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. It's relaxing, guys. I don't know if it can cure, talking about people with strokes and heart conditions getting cured by this. That might be a stretch. IS says she's going to try it before getting back to work and later with my students as well. Awesome. You need to report back and let us know how it worked. I'm going to handle it. It's a piece of cake for me. Exactly, Bilal. That's the thing. We could substitute. We just said, I know I'm going to have a great day. But imagine if a student or a teacher's leading it and the expressions are expressions they've already learned or you've just taught or you want to review, and you wouldn't have to repeat. I know it could be, I know I'm going to have a great day. I know that I can do it. I know I have it in me, right? Switching it up, changing the grammar. This is substitution drills, guys. I think it's great. I was watching a show the other night where a boy was autistic, and when he got really scared and nervous, he repeated the same thing, right? He repeated something that made him feel better. And I know I do this in different ways with, doing this with my hands, right? If I'm nervous, for example, kind of trying to relax, stretch. There are also things that I repeat. I'll tell you something that I repeat. I repeat the top 100 verbs in English. 2 minutes left, but I can't resist. This helps me calm down. Ready? The top most frequent 100 verbs in the English language. Be, have, do, say, go. Can, get, would, make, know, will, think, take, seek, come, could, want, look, use, find, give, tell, work, may, should, call, try, ask, need, feel, become, lead, put, mean, keep, let, begin, seem, help, talk, turn, start, might, show, hear, play, run, move, like, live, believe, hold, bring, happen, must, write, provide, sit, stand, lose, pay, meet, include, continue, set, learn, change, lead, understand, watch, follow, stop, create, speak, read, allow, add, spend, grow, open, walk, win, offer, remember, love, consider, appear, buy, wait, serve, die, send, expect, build, stay, fall, cut, reach, kill, remain. That's the top 100 verbs. Peace and respect. If I'm nervous, I start repeating that. You see, there's something going on. I don't tap. I'm going to start tapping while I do my top 100 verbs. I would love to see that video. It resembles it? Okay, look, if you have anything that you do or you've heard of that resembles the tapping technique, again, we are not here to say everybody should use the tapping technique. But how we're always here, American TESOL Institute and me, Fluent CMC, to give you ideas, to get your feedback on ideas too. And this one really resonated with me, as I've said many times today, because of the way it involves interactively in the classroom, sharing fears, anxieties, repeating ways of feeling better about yourself, and then using tapping, which is rhythm, right? And to help with this. And so I thought, wow, this is really cool. So we didn't get into a lot of detail on EFT. As I said, it wasn't designed for the classroom. It's not, a class education, based technique first and foremost, but a lot of people have adopted it. Go check it out for yourself. If you have any comments after you've seen videos of kids doing it and teachers talking about it and you want to leave them here, great. I want to thank everybody. Peace and respect, Patrick. I want to thank everybody who was here live, and this time it was a bunch of folks. I'm really happy more and more people each time are joining us live, so thank you for that. If you're watching the recording of this video, Thank you also for joining us. And everybody, please share this far and wide so we can reach more people. And the more people who come, the better these sessions will be. And definitely future topics will have to include ways of engaging learners when lessons are really long, like Bilal was asking about. I really like the one where adults have paid, but they have an attitude. That's interesting. How to handle something like that. I have to think about that one too. I have some ideas about that one because I've experienced it myself as well. Thanks to everyone in countries around the world, English language teachers. Peace and respect. Much love to all of you, and hope to see you at the next session. Please stay tuned to the American TESOL Institute page for that. Until then, ciao, bye-bye, salute, see ya.